Welcome back to another episode of the Performance Kitchen. Today we are joined by elite rower Lance Tredell. Hi Lance.
Hiya, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And today you are going to be providing us with a particular dish that you have. Is it before race day?
Yeah, it's my pre-race evening meal. So the night before the race, I'll try and get this meal in, nice and nutritious, so that if race day nerves kick in, then I'm okay. I've had a good meal the night before and fully fueled for the day.
Brilliant. So we've got a lot of ingredients here. Do you want to talk us through some of those?
Yeah, so we've got the sweet potatoes there, which we're going to peel and mash up. Sometimes I'll eat them with the skin on because there's a lot of goodness in the skin, but
Right.
we're going to peel them today, mash them up.
So this is obviously your carb.
Yeah, complex carbohydrate, good fuel source. Then we've got the chicken breast for the protein. We're gonna cut that open. We're gonna stuff it with some spinach, a bit of cheese, add some flavour there, and then just a selection of fresh vegetables.
Well, it sounds delicious. Should we start?
Yeah, absolutely. So first things first, let's get the potatoes peeled.
Okay.
If you peel that, and then I'll cut them up. If I get a knife.
So you say you'd have this before a race?
Yeah, so the night before generally, if possible. Obviously, if we're abroad competing, staying in a hotel, then you kind of, whatever's there.
But you'd kind of go for the same sort of...
Yeah, I'd look for similar kind of things. I do eat quite simple foods generally. Kind of like meat and two veg kind of guy. Reasonably plain, but also getting the major food groups in there.
The right bits in for performance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it's fuel.
And so on game day, do you eat? Sorry, on race day, do you eat a lot? Or do you?
It depends. Most of the time, to be honest, I don't really feel like eating too much, which is why if I've had a good solid meal like this the night before, then kind of like confident that if I haven't eaten a lot on the day, it doesn't matter too much. But it can vary. Sometimes I have a bit of an appetite, but most of the time probably not.
Is that due to nerves and?
Yeah, I think so, and also kind of, your body preparing itself for what you're about to put it through. Essentially, I think some of your bodily functions, kind of, the adrenaline's starting to build and those things, and yeah, often it will be a banana, plenty of water to stay hydrated, but maybe an energy bar, but nothing too heavy. The day of the race. So
what is it that your body is going through then? So talk us through like going through a race, just before the race, the nerves. What's the build up like, and then physically, what does the race feel like?
Yeah, well, the build up is it's usually quite intense, especially if it's for the for a big race. But essentially. So these are chopped now, so we can pop these into the water, get them boiling, because these can take a little bit longer.
Okay, so putting the potatoes in.
Yeah, so we'll pop the potatoes in there. Yeah, so, of course, there's always nerves on race day. But for me personally, it's kind of a sense of excitement as well. And I always see nerves as a good thing. If I'm nervous, it means my body is preparing itself for the race and for what we're about to do. And
so your adrenaline is getting high, and you get excited.
Yeah, you've got to embrace that.
Okay, so what's our next job? And how long do we need to put a timer on these? How long do we need to keep an eye on these for?
I never usually put a timer on it. We'll let them boil for a little bit, pop a knife in them, see how they're feeling.
Okay, great.
But we've got the chicken breast here, so we're going to get these and we're going to make an incision through the middle of the chicken breast, quite deep, not quite all the way through, but quite deep, enough so that we can get a good bit of stuffing, good bit of filling in there.
Okay. And what about the onion and the garlic? Do I need to be chopping these?
I think so, yeah. Well, we'll make the incision into the chicken and then we'll start preparing the stuffing.
Brilliant.
Which will be, that'll be the onion, the garlic, the cheese. In fact, why don't I do this, and then if you could start to prepare the stuffing.
So what are the next stages?
Okay, so the potato is boiling. Now we're going to prepare the filling for the chicken, and we're going to prepare the chicken. So if you wouldn't mind, if you could start with the sweet onion. So we're going to have half a sweet onion, peeled and then grated.
Okay.
I'm going to make an incision into the chicken and just add a bit of salt and pepper, a bit of seasoning to that.
So this filling is going to be spinach, onion, and I see some cheeses here.
Yeah,
so
a bit of soft cheese, some sliced mozzarella, a bit of garlic, and also a bit of salt and pepper in there.
Lovely. And so this is your typical meal for race day. And could you tell me a bit about the boat race? You know, is it the same as an elite race? What's your preparation like, the build-up?
Yeah, so I'd say probably the biggest difference with the boat race is compared to an international race is the fact that certainly for me, I haven't done many international races that are based in the UK. So usually you're abroad, in a foreign country, hotel, it's a very different environment. Obviously with the boat race, it's, you're very close to home, you're in London, you stay with a host family leading into the race. So,
in your teams or individually?
Yeah, as a crew. So every year for both Oxford and Cambridge, on the men's side at least, there are two crews. A blue boat crew and a reserve crew, Goldie and Isis. And so the two crews actually stay separately, but both stay with an alumni from the university. And they kindly put us up, they feed us, we stay there. The other option would be to stay in a hotel, but by staying at a host family's house, we get, it's quite homely, and we kind of get to spend a bit more time with each other than we usually would during term.
Must be quite relaxed in that sort of setting, and
yeah, it is. It kind of, so you're down in Putney on the Hard, and it's all busy, cameras, lots going on, quite intense. So it's nice to be able to go back and just relax in a nice homely environment, and the host families are great at that.
And so actually going into, does your training differ? Do you have the same sort of training as you do? Because obviously the boat race is a longer distance, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
What's the difference in the distances? And
so it's about 3 times the distance of an international race. The international race is over 2K.
So that's a big difference, isn't it?
It is quite, yeah, it is very different. In terms of the preparation, it's probably more similar than you might expect. Certainly, the mental preparation is exactly the same. But obviously, with it being a longer race, it does require slightly different energy systems, muscle groups. It's more endurance-based, whereas the 2K at international level is, it's very explosive, especially in the men's 8. It's ferocious, it's explosive, and you have that at the start of the boat race, but then you have to get into a more endurance-based rhythm. Otherwise you wouldn't make it.
End up burning out quite quickly.
Yeah.
So for something like that, does your nutrition change because it's a longer distance?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you'll be burning more carbohydrates over the long distance with a longer race. So you might want to go a bit more carb heavy, but generally I think we fuel well enough for the 2K that it doesn't differ hugely. But our host families are always fantastic. Both years that I did the boat race, we had at least, amongst other things, this available as a meal. So, there was sweet potato mash, there was the chicken breast, there was lots of fresh veg. So they ask us, what would you like to eat the night before?
Oh, so really accommodating.
They're so accommodating, they're absolutely fantastic. So yeah, the night before both boat races, I was able to have my sweet potato mash and chicken and veg.
So you definitely felt well prepared going in.
Absolutely, yeah.
And one of the boat races you were president for.
That's right, yes.
And so what does that involve?
The presidency role is, it's very complex and diverse, but essentially I saw my role as bringing a group of often very different people from different backgrounds together and kind of getting everybody on the same page, working towards one goal, really. But I'm trying to think what I need to do next now. I'm going to start slicing that mozzarella.
Okay.
That's the onion and the garlic in there, isn't it?
Yep.
So slice the mozzarella up.
Just about to put the garlic in.
Brilliant. I could do with another knife. I'm going to wash this knife off. Right, so the chicken is sliced and seasoned. We've got the garlic and onion in there. I'm going to slice up this mozzarella. We can add the cream cheese.
Okay.
I'm going to slice this mozzarella.
How much sort of cream cheese is this? Do you have amounts, or do you kind of guesstimate a little bit?
Most of the time, I kind of just guesstimate, to be honest.
Have a feel for it.
Yeah, just like a decent amount. And same with this mozzarella. I'm not going to use all of this mozzarella because we don't want to go too cheese heavy.
So obviously your boat races are late in the afternoon, aren't they? So what's the morning preparation like? What would you have in breakfast for the morning? How sort of like how many hours out from the race would you do it?
Yeah, so we race on boat race tide on high tide, and it actually varies each year what time the race is, but it is usually in the afternoon. So it makes it a bit more of a challenge because your normal routine of kind of waking up, perhaps a bit of a light breakfast, then heading down, changes because you actually race after lunch. So in terms of planning your food for race day, it does change. But again, as I said, the host family is fantastic, and they provide anything we want, they'll provide. And guys want different things. You know, there'll be some guys that just want to eat a sandwich, some guys that want some pasta, often just plain. I'll often request that there's porridge available because that seems to sit quite well.
And do they cook it all for you, or do they provide you with all the...
Yeah.
And do you have anything in your porridge or on your porridge?
Maybe a bit of honey, but not a lot more than a bit of honey.
And do you use milk or water to mix
milk? Definitely, yeah.
Nice. Make it a little bit creamier.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
so where are we at?
Mozzarella in here, and then we just need to add the spinach and a bit of salt and pepper.
And so once the chicken's stuffed, how long and how do we cook it? What's the preparation for that?
It's quite simple, really. We'll stuff it and then we'll just fry it, 5 or 6 minutes each side, and that's usually enough for it. Yeah.
So this is a really simple dish to make, isn't it?
It's really simple. Yeah, really simple, tasty, nutritious, and I think for me that's something that's important the night before. It needs to be something that I want to eat and that I look forward to eating, but also obviously meeting the requirements of it being a fuel source for the next day. Okay, so we've prepared the filling, seasoned the chicken, sliced the chicken open. Now we're going to fill the chicken. Basically get as much of this into the, you have to get your hands in there at some point, into the chicken as possible.
Messy?
Yeah, it's a bit of a messy job, this one, but it's worth it because it adds a really nice flavour to the chicken. And
so would you have 2 chicken breasts yourself?
I would definitely serve myself 2 chicken breasts, and yeah, most of the time I would probably eat them both. I say usually, generally have a very good appetite, eat a lot all the time, and that night before a race, it's still early enough that, you know, the adrenaline and the nerves haven't kicked in, so yeah, I usually fill my boots the night before. Okay, so chicken is stuffed. Potatoes look like they're about ready. So we'll get some oil in the pan, get the chicken on, drain the water from the potatoes, get that mashed.
Is this olive oil?
Yeah, just some olive oil. Sometimes use rapeseed oil as well, but olive oil is just great. And we'll put this in. And once the chicken's in, we'll just put a tablespoon of butter in there just for a bit more
flavour.
Yeah, a bit more flavour and juice.
Okay.
All right.
Look how great that looks.
These just want to go in like that. Lovely. Just need a spoon.
That's about 5 minutes each side.
Yeah, about 5 minutes. We'll turn it over, and that should be, if it's on like a medium-high heat, that should be about right. All right, okay. So we'll get
so a spoonful of
butter.
Is that salted butter, unsalted?
Salted, yeah.
Salted, nice.
Let's get that in at the back there.
Oh, lovely.
Excellent.
So that's 5 minutes each side.
Yeah, 5 or 6 minutes. With chicken, I always think it's best to, probe it, check the temperature of it before you eat it. Of course, a bit of a risky one, but 5 or 6 minutes should be enough. And we can drain these potatoes off now and then get them mashed.
Do you put any butter in your mashed potato?
Yeah, a little bit of butter, a little bit of milk, a bit of salt and pepper as well. I'll pop that on there, that'll be fine.
Get the masher. There we go.
That'll be okay. Drop of milk.
So what happens after a boat race then? What's your recovery strategies?
In my experience of my 2 races, it depends how the race has gone.
Let's talk about the good ones. We'll start there.
Okay.
So successful races.
Yeah, well, so 2016 when we won, obviously you have the prize giving ceremony and the champagne, of course. And then
But you normally wear the champagne.
You wear most of it, but yeah, able to drink some of it. And then there's a designated driver, usually one of the coaches or support staff. They drive us back to Putney, and we're greeted by all our friends and family who have been watching down at Putney. There was a big group of them. We pull up in the minibus and just drive into a big crowd, and the minibus was swamped. And, yeah, amazing. It was pretty awesome. And then from there, we get changed and head to our blues dinner, which is held every year. The evening of the boat race, we have a big dinner where we celebrate with all previous members of the boat club who have taken part in the boat race. So it's a really special occasion where we all get together and give speeches and get to know some of the old boys. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant to have like everybody involved together and see the people
fantastic.
before. Okay,
right, so that's mashed. The chicken's cooking nicely. I think we can probably think about getting the veg on.
Lovely. And do these literally going in whole like this?
Yeah, they look good just as they are. So that hob's on, they can just go straight into that.
And these cook for about 5-6 minutes, we say?
Yeah, 4 or 5 minutes for the veg. We might turn the chicken over. And then so we have the blues dinner, and then after that there's usually an after party of some sort that's been organised. And then we all head over there. And you got some slippers, that's useful. Into the night, so big celebration.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
I'll let you show us how it's done.
I'll see if these might not be wired enough for this big bit of chicken. I might have to use my fingers a little bit. Oh yeah, that's cooking nicely now.
And so how important for race day, elite races, general training, recovery, what's the sort of things that you need to think about?
Nutrition is important, of course. Generally, sleep. I think sleep is a big one. Really important. Just being off your feet as well. Mm-hmm. So when you finish training, after 3 sessions, go home and just get off your feet. Sit on the sofa, watch some TV. A lot of guys will go home and have a nap, and then they'll wake up and have dinner, and then to bed after that.
Okay.
I was never a huge fan of napping. I did experiment with it, tried it out, but I prefer to just get a big sleep in the evening, high quality sleep.
What sort of numbers do you go for then in the evening?
At least 10 hours a night.
10 hours a night.
Yeah.
So that you must be going to bed pretty early, considering rowing training starts at what time?
Yeah, 8 till 6 would be or 8:30, 6:30 would be my ideal. Obviously, when I was at Cambridge and had studying on top of that, the 10 was closer to 4 a lot of the time.
I was going to say, like trying to balance both must be quite difficult.
Yeah, so we'd usually get home from the evening session at around 6:30, have some dinner, and then straight up to my room to do some studying, and then usually
start the day all over again.
Yeah.
Safely. Okay, so I think we're all done now.
Yeah, this is all
Chicken
ready to
is
be served.
cooked.
Chicken's cooked.
Sizzling nicely.
Yeah.
So if I dish this up.
Lovely. Thank you.
That's great. And then we're going to add...
Excellent, we'll get the potato. probably would have about 2 or 3 times that amount to myself usually. But this
so you'd have my plate on your plate?
Probably, yeah. But this will be...
You can have more potato if you want.
No, that's great, thank you.
This looks and smells delicious.
And we've got some vegetables.
Thank you. Your presentation skills are pretty good as well. So just a quick summary of what we've got here. So we've got sweet potato mash, which has got salt, butter, milk in it, and a bit of pepper, seasoning. And then we've got sliced chicken breast stuffed with mozzarella, spinach, cream cheese, onion, garlic.
Spot on.
Got it all. Really simple and easy dish to make and smells delicious. Taylor, looks great. Should we tuck in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where'd you start?
Sorry, can we do that again?
Yeah.
I have my cutlery the other way around. I know it's really
So
bad.
do I. So do I.
I was just like, how am I going to do that with this?
Just I would say.
Great. Should we tuck into this?
Absolutely.
Where to start?
It'll be really strange eating this now and not racing tomorrow.
Tomorrow you're going to wake up all hyped and ready for race day.
It's one of those habitual things.
This is really lovely. You can taste all the flavours that we put into the middle.
Save some for the rest.
We'll just keep filming, shall we?
You like it?
Oh, I do really like it. Definitely going to be a recipe that I use in the future. Thank you very much for joining us on the episode of Performance Kitchen, and we'll see you next time. Woo! Really good. Yeah.